Hi, we're going to talk about the basics of pickleball here at Hershey Country Club. We now have pickleball courts lined out on some of the tennis courts here, and what we're going to talk about is the basics of how the game is played. The game starts with a serve, like most racket sports. The serve starts from the right service court, and I'm going to hit the ball from this right-hand service court over to my opponent's right-hand service court. My opponent has to let the ball bounce and then return it to me. I have to let the ball bounce before I return it back to her. From that point on, we can hit the ball either off the bounce or in the air. Now, an important part of pickleball is what's called the kitchen or the no volley zone. We'll talk about this in just a minute after we get through the service and the return of service and the demonstration of the two bounce rule. Okay, now as I prepare to serve, I will drop the ball, I'll hit it with my paddle. The paddle has to be on an upward arc and it cannot be above the waist. My opponent will let it bounce and then return it to me. Good shot. As you could see, the ball bounced in my opponent's court. She hit the ball back to me. Could have been in any part of the court, but I had to wait for it to bounce before I could hit it. Now let's talk about the kitchen real quickly. The kitchen, or the no volley zone, is a 7-foot wide area, 22 feet in distance. You cannot strike the ball out of the air when you're standing in the kitchen. Now what we're going to do is my opponent's going to hit the ball to me. I'm standing outside the kitchen, so if the ball is in the air, I can return it right out of the air to her. That's called a volley. But if I'm standing here in the kitchen and I do that, it's a fault, and the serve goes over to her. So here's a volley, right there. All right. You'll notice that my opponent hit the ball out of the air at me, and I was standing outside of here. Now we're going to talk about how the kitchen play occurs. In order to use the whole court of play, players often, after the initial serve and the two bounce rule has been satisfied, try to drop the ball into the no volley zone or the kitchen. Notice that we can step into the kitchen as long as the ball bounces there. But if the ball doesn't bounce in the kitchen, then I can hit it in the air. In pickleball, you can only score points when you're serving. So if I serve the ball and the ball doesn't land in the court, or it doesn't go over the net, or it lands in the kitchen, that's called a fault, and the serve would go over to my opponent. Often, pickleball is played with doubles. In case if I make a mistake on the serve would then go to my partner on the left-hand court, and they would have to hit it cross-court to the other opponent over there. Now finally, what's the scoring in pickleball? You always have to call out the score before serve. You state your score, you state the other team's score, and then you state whether you're the first or second server. Right, this is the beginning of a serve. It's 0-0 in the start of the game. Pickleball is most often played in doubles. And so when serving, the first server at the beginning of the game serves the ball to the opposing team. When that side that's served makes a mistake, the service then goes over to the other team and they start to serve there. After that, the person on the right-hand side serves, then the person on the left-hand side serves, and it goes back to the opposing team. Most pickleball games are scored to 9, 11, 15, or 21 points, depending on whether you're playing recreationally or whether you're playing in a tournament. If you want to have fun, and pickleball is a lot of fun, come out and play. You can get rackets at the tennis shop and balls.